what was that one point where you thought that you got to make that shift, and why that shift happened?
Okay, I got on. He introduced me, blockchain, AI, etc.
Right.
My friends, I'll tell you one more thing actually also. I don't come from a tech background at all.
Okay.
I never actually went and coded. I was never an engineer. And today, well, we were speaking about tech anyways. And how it happened in, I think, 2010, it was the month of October first week, I don't remember the exact date. I lost my wife in 2010, in the month of October, in a car accident from the Mumbai-Pune highway. That was a very big turning point because our daughter had just moved from India to LA, to Boston actually. She had got a scholarship, moved there for college, and we were actually planning to surprise her on her birthday. That was on 19th of December, and celebrate Christmas, have a white Christmas in Boston, have a New Year in the United States, and that's how we planned it. But God had other plans, and unfortunately, we were both involved in a car crash. My driver and my wife died on the spot. That was a bad time for us, and that's my depression. To overcome my depression during those days, I went into something which is totally alien to me, and that was technology. Why technology? Because it was something I had to sit down and reinvent my whole self. And I think that's how it all started. And I was, by the way, I was India's first Bitcoin miner, which I don't do anymore, so Bitcoin is not really important.
Awesome.
So I mined the first Bitcoins on record on 19th of December 2010, which also happened to be my daughter's birthday.
Wow.
So that's how it started.
Is that a coincidence? Is that a coincidence that happened, or was it purposeful?
I was planning to do that, and I was aiming to get my first bunch of coins by 2000 on her birthday.
Right.
Because I wanted to gift it to her, and that's exactly what I did.
Wow.
That's what anyway.
That's fantastic.
The rest of it is history with her. She's now the proud owner of several more Bitcoins.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Apart from that, what would be interesting to know? I think just go back to the basics. For the unversed, usually there is a certain mindset with regards to bitcoins, because people keep reading a lot of news saying that, oh, this is good or this is bad or something. It would be fantastic because you've been there, you've done that, and you've created so many patents actually. And
63.
63, exactly, highest in India.
Yes.
And that really calls for a round of an applause. 63 patent was 63.
By the way, 3 more coming in the pipeline, all coming from Goa.
Awesome.
That's even better.
Amazing. So how do you keep ahead of the curve? Because it's such a rapidly changing phase of times right now. Everything's a disruption and everything.
Yes.
So how do you do that?
First of all, how many of you got Bitcoin out here? I asked the same question a few days back. 2 people picked up their hands. Yeah? So we have 2 people. So as I said that day also, and I'm saying it again, the drinks are on them. Yes? A Bitcoin is nothing but a great use case of the blockchain technology. I'll keep it very simple. It is not per se blockchain. Bitcoin is not blockchain, and blockchain is not Bitcoin. So when you look at a technology, just look at it as a technology. Don't look at the byproducts of it. Not at the beginning. When you go deep dive, yes. So, when we went actually to mine Bitcoin, we understood the technology behind Bitcoin, and that technology is blockchain. So, my life, which started as speculation, trading Bitcoins, transformed into a revolution, and that revolution is blockchain. Life from speculation to revolution.
Speculation to, I love that sentence. Speculation.
Book बनाए?
book बना
Book का title जो आप बोल रहे थे change करो.
Exactly.
ये this could be the one.
Speculation to revelation. और इसको patent भी कर देते हैं.
वो मैंने कर दिया.
Okay. Right. So great. And what is the most significant problem that blockchain solves? And how is it transforming the industry?
It's very simple. I'll keep it simple for a lot of people who don't understand the technology. I'll keep it very simple.
Yeah.
Actually, blockchain is a technology, fine. But we've been practicing the very fundamentals and concepts of blockchain right from hundreds and thousands of years. I'll ask a question to all of you. If you have 10 lakh rupees, for example, right now, where would you invest it? Would you invest it only in stocks and shares? Or you would say, I'll buy some stocks and shares, some mutual funds, some fixed deposits, some real estate, some jewelry. What have you done? You just distributed your wealth, right? The same thing in today's data-driven world. We call everything, data is the new gold, data is the new oil. You just distribute the data the same way. So now, your risk is mitigated, and the same thing what blockchain does. Today's data is all in one place, it's centralized. But blockchain decentralizes it. It means basically it distributes it. It is not in one place. Nobody knows who owns it.
Right.
And that's I'm talking about public blockchains. So that's what we'll talk about, because that's real blockchain. The rest I don't consider blockchain. Private blockchains, it's just fun, it's a great technology, but blockchain,
Right.
this is what it is. So it's like saying don't put all your eggs in one basket. Is that simple to understand? Well, that's blockchain for you in the simplest possible words.
Right. And what are the most misunderstood aspects of blockchain that you'd like to clarify?
First, blockchain is not Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is not blockchain.
I think that is important.
You know, when I started my organization and I came to India for the first time in 2018, I mean, not first time, but I've gone in between to the States. In 2018, when I went to many people, I spoke to them, and I was talking about the virtues of blockchain as a technology. The first thing they asked me, sir, Bitcoin kharide kya nahi kharide? That was the first question.
Yeah.
And at the highest levels, CEO, XO levels, whatever, at that point of time. Now things are changing. But that's the first question. So the biggest myth is, well, you can put that on one side and just think of blockchain as a technology that's going to be a revolution. It's going to be there in around, it's going to be all pervading over the next 10, 15 years. It's something like what GPay was about 10, 15 years back. Hardly, how many people used GPay about 10, 15 years back? Almost nobody. Today, who doesn't use GPay?
Yeah, everybody uses. Even the bhaji wala.
I don't use.
You don't use
I'm a
GPay?
blockchain guy. I don't use it at all. Okay, this entire technology is very faulty, but I'm not getting into that.
Okay.
But bottom line is that. But bottom line is we all use some form of online payment. UPI is everything is there.
Right.
So that's what we're using. So that's exactly where blockchain is right now. We are on the ground floor right now. So you can't wait for it. Up. So that's what you wait for that, and you don't have to learn the tech for it. You just need the application. कहाँ उसको use कर सकते हैं? That's all. When you have a phone, right, with you?
Right.
Do you know how many technologies are inside the phone? 30, 40, 50, 100, God knows. We don't know how many technologies are inside. What do you do with the phone? You make a call, you use the WhatsApp, you use mail, you browse. That's about more or less
That's
what you
about
do.
mostly,
Most of
yeah.
it, right? Do you really bother what technology you're using? No, you're using a phone. And that's how technology should be. Whether it's blockchain, whether it's artificial intelligence, these should be conversations. It should be as easy as a conversation, then you'll adopt it. And one of the biggest problems is people have made a big noise about blockchain. Oh, it's very
That's
difficult. Come on, guys. You guys know how to drive a car, right? You get up in the morning and do you build your car every day? You go inside and tinker with the machines every day? No, you don't. Just pick up the key, on, and there you go. You should be able to navigate yourself. That's important. How you do it, how the car moves, whether you know or don't know, it's perfectly okay.
Right. Are there any projects or products or value chain that has failed?
Oh, plenty. If I say no, everything I've done has been a success, I'll be absolutely rubbish. It's all rubbish.
Yeah.
In fact, let's take India. Let's take India right here. I'm not Goa, India. I've done projects, multiple projects here, which have not gone beyond the pilot phase. Why? Two things happen. Suddenly somebody says, oh, this guy's got too much control. He's too powerful. We will not be able to control our data. Oh, you can control it. There's a misconception again. So one of the projects which failed was in Haryana, where we actually tried to implement the same supply chain transparency. What were we doing? We were actually putting the potatoes, the cabbage, everything on blockchain so that everybody would know exactly how fresh it is, because you know exactly which day it was harvested, etc., etc. So that project went very well from a pilot perspective, but when it actually went to the implementation, that failed. So Haryana was the first one that failed. You need to have a lot of all stakeholders should be on board, because there are multiple stakeholders. Some people resist it, some people don't resist it. Awareness is a big problem. Most people are not even aware of the benefits. Typically, supply chain on a blockchain saves up to 72% costs.
That's brilliant.
That's a lot. But the awareness is still there. But one good thing, in India, from a government perspective, 106 projects are ongoing on blockchain. Okay? And India's against Bitcoin, but not against blockchain. That should be the thing, how it's been validated. And by the way, there's only in blockchain is the one technology that has a national strategy on blockchain published by Ministry of IT in central government. So that is some validation. That's the only technology which has a national strategy.
That's fantastic, because these are the things we are not aware of it, you know. And people who are like such as yourself, who are constantly doing so much of work, are somebody who bring this, you know, to light. And that really creates so much of awareness. I think a lot is also got to do with the right information and awareness.
Regulatory challenges are there. India doesn't have a policy around this technology. That's one of the biggest problems. If you have clarity and if you define, also what happens is a lot of confusion is, oh, if I'm tokenizing,
yes,
tokenizing is not Bitcoin. It's a reward system. It's just like your loyalty points. People think of it as a token or a coin and say, oh, government is going to clamp down on us if we have it. That's one misconception, but it's there. And it's very difficult in India to break that misconception. Whenever I speak, everybody says, they have blockchain pe dalenge, they have problem ho jayega, government hamare pe raid kar denge. Kyun karegi? We're putting a technology just like any other technology. So, I think once the regulatory environment is not as opaque as it is right now, we will see actual more projects being adopted. In the private sector, there is a lot of adoption.
Okay.
In the government sector, it's slower, but it's there. In fact, in the government of Goa also doing a project on blockchain. Land titling on the blockchain is something which we're doing, so that we can there'll be no disputes on land in the as we go forward. So I think that's another great thing.
Usually there's a gap. Usually there's huge gap in terms of the the land documents and Satbara and all of that.
I'm working very closely with the Goa startup to make that happen.
Lovely, lovely. I'm sure something will. So coming to that, would love to know what trends or innovations blockchain are you most excited about?
I'm really excited about the real world asset tokenization, and that's where it's even applicable when we talk about tech media. We can now actually tokenize movies, real estate. I've done right now till now, from 2018 till now, 2019 till now, $3 billion worth of tokenization. That includes real estate, it includes movies, liners, ships, even whiskey, for that matter. We tokenize whiskey. Why? Because
this is globally?
Yeah, globally.
Okay.
India is very slowly uptake. It's still early days, no policy is yet.
Right.
But in Dubai, most of Dubai's buildings, if you see real estate, a lot of that is tokenized. United States, apple orchards, you tokenize. In Delhi right now, we are doing a project on cotton produce, tokenizing cotton produce. Now, what is tokenization? Nothing else but actually splitting it so that you can raise money without even having to take a loan from a bank. I mean, it's a little more complicated than that, but for the time being, that's all we need to know really. The real world asset tokenization is going to be the next big thing. We already have bonds being tokenized. Soon we'll have everything which is an asset which can be made into a digital format will be tokenized. In the next 10 years, we'll see a wave of tokenization. I've even tokenized my appointments in the United States for that matter.
Wow.
So somebody buys a token and then buys an appointment from me.
Appointment.
So that's in the US. In India, nobody says, sir, free mein bata do.
Correct.
And yahan to sir, aap baad mein paisa de denge, stuff like that. But that's the way it is.
That's true. So here's another interesting aspect. How do you envision blockchain intersecting with emerging technologies like AI, IoT, or the metaverse?
Blockchain doesn't work in isolation. It has to work with other technologies. You use Java, Python, then you build a blockchain on that. And in any case, there is an intersection of AI today. There's an intersection with IoT. There's an intersection with cybersecurity. It's everywhere. So it doesn't work in isolation. It does not replace. It complements. And that's what makes it a wonderful tool. We should just be able to think from that perspective.
Amazing, amazing. And what is the kind of advice you'd like to give for the for people who are aspiring, like such as myself? Like I want to now, like I'm going to go back and really study more. And what are the mediums that you can suggest? And what are the things that you can actually guide us on?
See, you're doing a lot of work in the distribution. Actually, you should put your entire distribution on the blockchain. You will save costs, prevent leakage, piracy, anything.
Right.
So those are great things here. Where you should learn it from, first of all, don't take any course.
Okay.
Many people say take a course. I say don't take any course, they're only there to confuse you.
Right.
Right? Just study the fundamental. I'm happy to share a book with you, by the way.
Okay.
That book is not written by me.
Okay.
But I found that the most useful book to understand blockchain at the fundamental level. The rest of it is all gyan, and everybody has their own perspective.
Right.
So understand the fundamental. More important, understand the application. Where can I apply this? So that is the model which I made, and I think it will be useful for all of you. I call it the FITS model. FITS.
Okay.
So what is the FITS model? F. Wherever there is an incidence, wherever there could be an incidence of fraud,
Right.
which covers mostly all businesses.
Businesses.
There you apply blockchain.
Okay.
I. Information. Veracity of information, meaning authenticity of information. See, in a supply chain, for example, so many people working, so much information being poured in. How do you know what is truth and what is not?
Right.
That's where you require blockchain.
Okay.
T, trust. When there is a lot of players in the game and you don't know how to trust anybody,
Right.
then you bring in blockchain. Because then if everybody's on the same platform, it's a single source of truth. And S, of course, is the security.
Security.
So look at that FX model. If it fits your business, you need blockchain. If not now, maybe 5 years down the line, maybe 10 years down the line.
Right.
But there will be a time when you will have this application. 4 years back, I was doing 12 projects in the blockchain space. Today, I'm working on private. Today, I'm working on 157. That itself
Wow.
is where we are going here.
That's
a
amazing.
lot of people are naysayers and say, "Oh, it's just as fast." And, it's not.
Right.
Use the fundamentals of it. Call it blockchain, call it anything else, but it's the single source of truth, and that's where you should really be.
And what's the name of the book?
Blockchain for dummies.
Blockchain?
For dummies.
Oh, of course, of course. so Raj, you've been a visionary. You've been a visionary all your life. The way how it's gone. How do you see? What is the blue sky that you see down the line in next say 5 years or 10 years? And what is it that you would like to see in terms of?
I would like a lot more government adoption.
Okay.
That's one, because once the government adopts, private sector always follows. That's the first thing. Second thing, I would like a lot more awareness. I think we have a very big gap in the awareness sector. I speak to a lot of I was in an IIM recently, and surprisingly, they were also confused about this. Surprisingly,
That's yeah.
I was speaking at an IIT about 2 months back, and I was sad to know that most of them didn't understand the value of this technology. They were computer science, they were CSE students, engineering, so computer engineering students. So awareness is one. Now we have some great courses in some of the large institutions. We have some great courses, but you don't need a large 2-year course to understand it, because blockchain, already the technology changes every 2-3 months. There's a lot of evolution.
Right.
How are you going to keep it up? You do the course, by the time you finish, it's become redundant.
Right.
So one of the things is we need to make bite-sized education.
Mm-hmm.
We need to make education bite-sized. You make it bite-sized, you got it made. You make it a long 2-year curriculum, who's going to read it?
Yeah, by the
You
time
have it.
it finishes, then
Yeah.
you're like moving
Frankly
on.
speaking, this should be a lesson for all of us out here. I learned blockchain from a 9-page document called Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper. So I downloaded that. There was some footnotes. I downloaded the footnote documents and the footnote documents of the footnote documents. Okay, and that was my entire course. That's how I learned blockchain. And today, I can program in 18 languages, created 4 layer 1 blockchains, which is the foundation blockchains. I've been credited with forking Ethereum, which is one of the very large, very popular blockchains. I forked it way back in 2016, 17, 18, I think around that time. I have actually been part of the team that plugged the largest crypto heist with Polygon in 2021. So it's been a wonderful journey. And what did we learn it from? Not by any course.
That's
We
right.
just learned it because we wanted to do it. It's a lot of passion, of course, involved. Get passionate, download these papers. Courses are TK. You can do it if you really want to go deep dive into it.
Right. So it's got more to do with the mindset. And also because you said you did not belong to the tech side at all.
I'm an MBA in international marketing. That's my space.
Wow.
For 25 years, 30 years, I was just doing that. And then suddenly, boom. In fact, when I passed out of college, we didn't have a laptop or a computer.
Right.
Imagine in 1980-81, when we passed out, which computer was there? We had then the 286 machine and then the 386 machine.
Yeah.
Frankly speaking, we played Snake and a couple of other games.
Pac-Mans.
Nothing more, the Pac-Man and Snake. That was the only thing I used it for. So it's been a long, long journey from there.
Right.
But look at the evolution of technology now. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Not just blockchain. I think all technology.
All the
Fantastic
technologies.
enablers.
Yeah, it is. I think we are in the age of course, information, data, and everything. But at the same time, there is so much of disruption happening. How does one keep up to it, Raj?
See, as I said, you always have to be ahead of the curve. Now, right now, okay, I've done a lot of work in the blockchain space. Now, I also know what's a threat to blockchain. It's quantum.
Right.
I'm working on quantum right now. I'm actually working on quantum blockchain, which will be quantum proof. I worked with it in 2017-18 with a company called Dragon Chain in the United States. I'd like to share this because it actually changed my life. It really changed my life. So we were doing a project that time with the Homeland Security and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. At that time, we solved a very critical problem. I'm not going into what the problem was. It's covered under the NDA till now. Till 2435, I can't talk about it. But it solved a very critical problem from an FBI Homeland Security perspective. Means at the highest security level. And there was a guy called Trey Rutledge. He was handling that project. He actually posted on LinkedIn. I was just still there. He called me the godfather of blockchain. That changed my life.
Wow.
That changed my life because I started getting a lot of work anyways. Before that, they used to call me grandfather of blockchain.
And you had mentioned how did that happen also? Would you love to share that? Like there was some problem that was going on.
Yeah, there was a problem. I didn't know there was such a big problem because I had come to India to celebrate Diwali. And they called me and said, listen, Raj, can you come? There's a problem. I didn't know that the problem had been ongoing for the last 7 to 8 months. So good, I did not know there was no weight on my, there was no baggage. So when I went there, I said, okay, we'll do it. And I think with me and my team, we solved it in 4 or 5 days. So they couldn't believe that Indians could actually sit down and do such a complex, and blockchain is pretty complex. From a tech perspective, it's complex. We solved that problem, and that's why he couldn't help himself, he actually put that. So I said, okay, it makes a difference because his first used to call me grandfather of blockchain because I was in my 50s and doing blockchain. Then I said, okay, now I got my guns ready, guys. Godfather of blockchain. Much better.
Oh, awesome. I mean, are you writing a book soon?
Somebody's writing a book on me. He gave me a corny name which I shared with you that day. So yeah, somebody's writing a book on me.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. And how do you approach basically scalability? Like you're saying that the technology is changing. Now you're working on quantum blockchain. Maybe in about next 5 years there would be something else that would come up.
Sure, it will come.
And so how do you kind of envision that? And for instance, obviously you're into that business, and so there is always a certain speculation that you do. And also, so what is the combination? How do you get your information?
Yeah.
Because that is such an important thing, because you have plenty of people talking plenty of things. Yes. And what to believe and what not to believe usually becomes a issue.
Yeah, it is. In fact, I think this is my advice to everybody. Spend about 30 to 40 minutes trying to learn something new, whether it's blockchain or anything else. I spend about 2 hours because I'm doing very deep research, because I also write research papers. I've got now about 40 odd research papers published. Yeah, most of them are published in the US. You'll find them on and 40 minutes is more than enough, I think, to start with. Then when you go deep dive, you can go more and more. One is that. Second, get hands-on. Start learning it on the laptop, on the computer. Don't start learning the theory very much. It doesn't work. It puts you to sleep. Frankly speaking, it puts me to sleep also. So whatever I've just picked up, I sit down on my lap, I keep experimenting. You'll fail many a time. Many times you'll fail. But when you don't fail, that hurrah moment, the eureka moment there is where you made that big difference now. You've taken a breakthrough ahead. I'm working on a very nice project, by the way, with another Goa, this is I'm saying because this is I'm doing with a Goa-based startup on blockchain and using AI. So what we are doing is, you go to have you like the street food, the Ross omelets and everything which Goa street food has got lovely stuff.
Right.
Do you really know how good it is or how healthy it is? Well, we are creating this app with these kids out here. You can just scan it and then exactly it'll tell you how much it's got, how much virus it's got, and whether you should eat it or not.
Oh God.
And mind you, some restaurants in Goa are worse than the street food. So that's my last statement.
Right, we'll take. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything.